Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions, let's do a level 99 review of Shadowlynx. And this will be my second level 99 review that I do in my global account, so that's exciting. It's been a while since Shadowlynx was released, but going through the tower in both JP and Global, she was awesome again in both accounts there. And then because she came out so long ago, probably everybody has her, and then maybe has a few shards to limit break her a few times. And she's really one of the best investments in the game, I would say. I have heard some people lately say that non-UR units are free to play. That is not true. It still takes a lot to max an MR or lower rarity unit. But if you had some Azure orbs just laying around and some extra rainbow shards, Shadowlynx would be a great choice to use those to invest. Shadowlynx is a dark element slash attacker, which is one of the very best units to have, and then you kind of want to have multiples of them. A lot of the game, even 7 months into JP, it really caters to dark and or slash attack units, and then the upcoming Final Fantasy XIV raid will again put the spotlight on dark slash attackers, so you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. So Shadowlynx and then Gathgarion, I think they are options that everybody could benefit from. Better are Stern or Vineta or Super Stern. But for raids, for example, like the White Marshmallow raid or the future Two-Headed Dragon event, if you can put together your own team of dark slash attackers, you might not have to touch multiplayer at all, and that can be much smoother and less stressful of an experience. Oh, I should also mention Sasayaki and Jiza as dark slash attackers. You could certainly work them into your team. But Shadowlynx main job Ninja, sub-job Dragoon, and then sub-job Samurai. Very nice selection of sub-jobs, and then they have a lot of good synergy together. They all make for a good character overall, and then you can get good use out of any of these sub-jobs. It just depends on the situation that she's in. But let's look at her Trustmaster. This is a ninja blade, only ninjas can use it. But 82 attack, that's not the most, but it's decent. And then HP 102. At first, this was kind of a non-factor, because you're probably going to use an accessory or armor with more HP. But with the stat stacking update that we'll get later in Global, this 100 is pretty good. This will count for something, and it's among the higher among HP values for a weapon. Agility 4 is great, Critical 13 is great, and then the bonus ability, Paralysis Granted. This is one of the very best status effects that you can get in the game. And the reason for that is because it can't be cancelled if you hit the character. Other status effects like Charm or Sleep or stuff, you can put the status effect on them, but if they're hit by something, they'll wake up or whatever. And then that's a danger in auto battle, because I think still, at least in Global the auto battle will attack characters that do have that status effect. But with Paralysis, you can attack them as much as you like, they'll still have the Paralysis on them. So, excellent Trustmaster. And then if you are maining Kiton, and then she's a character that you use a lot, I think you'll definitely want to max Shadowlynx, even if just for the blade. But you'll get a great character as well. But other good weapons for her, you could certainly get the Sasuke's Katana, that will give you more attack, and then of course the bonus ability of more slash attack. And then there's the SR blade, the Kodachi. For that one, the Vital version might be the most interesting. That can give you 160 HP, so if you're looking at maybe an HP build, especially after the stat stacking update comes, that might be an option. And I guess since we're here in items, we might as well look at what else we got. Hats, she can use hats, that's perfect for her, because you can make a dodge type, get the base evade, and then the bonus evade. Another good option could be a +5 ring. This will also give you an evasion bonus stat. And so, if in the far future you're using a Trustmaster, which has base evade but no bonus evade, you could put this on there. Or if you have a hat that does not have a plus value, you can use this ring to make up. Okay, but next let's look at her skills. Main job ninja, we'll look at those skills. Here's shoot again, one of the best attacks in the game. Long range, many uses, cheap cost, and does pretty good damage. It often feels like more than just the S. And then, yeah, going through the tower yesterday, I felt like Shuriken was often doing more damage than a lot of other attacks. So I would end up using this, even if I was like right next to an enemy. And then there's Hide, a TP skill. This can be useful, but I don't like it as much as Utsusemi. This will significantly raise the evasion rate for a turn. And the way that I like to do this is if I need to buy time, you know, like if Shadowlynx is one hit away from being taken down, and I need a turn for my healer to come over, I can use this, and then raise her chances of surviving. Or I can send Shadowlynx just, you know, to the front of the battle, right in the middle of all the enemies, use this, and then maybe she can act as like an evade tank for a turn. I generally don't like to think of characters as being like an evade tank or a magic tank for just like one turn or 3 turns, like a conditional tank. I like my tanks to be like at full power the entire fight. But in certain situations it can come in handy, so I do like Utsusemi. Shadow Bind is nice, that can inflict stop. That's another one of the better status effects. You could raise your faith in order to get better success rate out of this, and that might be attractive actually, because you want her evading anyway, you don't want her to be taking hits. And she might get one-punched by magic anyway, even with low faith, so that's something to consider. But then here's Dream Within a Dream. Really doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's good for 2 things. One is setting up chains in raids, and then 2 is completing those story quests. So if you didn't have another chainer, I could highly recommend this. Okay, next, Ninja Subjob. Poison Mist, this is interesting. This will, you know, cast poison around you, and then it will move you to the panel that you select. Poison is very nice. As we saw in the tower, there are enemies with like a lot of attack resistances, but poison, it can kind of cut through that. It does take some time, but this can be a nice source of damage that's kind of like armor piercing or resistance piercing, and then good against tanks as well. But you could certainly just use it for the movement, because that's very nice to be able to move essentially twice in one turn. Okay, and here's Anton. This is one of the most powerful abilities in the right situation. But like I just said with Poison, this can cut through attack resistances because this attack does not have a type. It's not Pierce or Strike or Magic, it's just nothing. So it can't be resisted by anything. It is Dark Element, so we'll get the regular resistances or advantages there. But yeah, this was very helpful in the tower as well. And then, yeah, in certain cases, better than Shoot Again. Okay, and then Decide Our Fate, just a TP skill. Those are always nice to have. Okay, next let's look at the Samurai subjob. I like this one a lot. Hien, another one of the best attacks in the game. Many uses, decent range, low cost, and good damage. Again, it's higher than S here. Devotion, a nice TP skill. Meditation, I never use this, but raise the bravery. I guess that's a good thing. Night Veil, I like this series of samurai attacks that hits everybody around them. It's especially good for a high movement unit like Shadowlynx, where she can get in the middle of a lot of guys. But pretty good damage against everybody. And again, another attack with a status effect that maybe you could benefit from raising your faith. And then Illusion, this is a very nice support skill if you want to use her on an evade team, which is very recommended for her. But she can raise evasion for herself and her teammates, so that's a nice one to use in the beginning of battle. And then Hayate, another movement ability. This one can't be leveled, so it just works. You know, there's no like percentage of failure like some other skills. But again, maybe moving twice in a turn. Very, very nice. And then there's the Dragoon subjob. This is the one that I use the most often. As of now, Shadowlynx is my only jumper on my team, so I like to use her for that. But self-buff for attack, that's fine. Brave Break, also never use this. And then jump, this is okay, but Horizon Jump is the one that I really like. Very long range, which is always surprising from a jump. But this might be her most damaging attack with the damage L. The big weakness to it is the lack of elevation range, but you know, it's not difficult to find a panel that has the same elevation as the enemy. And then a lot of the maps have been flat, and a lot of the future maps will be flat as well, so there'll be lots of chances to use this. And then Dragon Standard, yeah, raise, jump, and move. That's another nice TP skill. For now, where Global is, Shadowlynx is still viable in PvP, but I feel like as we get further into the future and more units have like more tankiness, regardless of like their other jobs, like Kitufe and Agrius, they're very tough. I don't think Shadowlynx is going to be enough of a damage source against them. But Anton in particular, that ninja skill that can cut through resistances, that might be her best damage source in the far future. Okay, support abilities, almost all of them are good. Move and jump +1, great. Agility up, that's great. Oh, and luck. This will help with your evasion, so that's nice for her. I should level that up. Blade Soul I really like. Raises attack and evasion. Almost any character that I have with a samurai job or sub job, I'll put this on them, just because both of those skills are really nice. And then jump +1, which you might think is worse than Shukuchi in all cases, but not really. Depending on the map, like the PvP map, and then the starting positioning for Shadowlynx, the combination of movement abilities that you give her will change how she moves across the screen. So it would be worth experimenting with that. See how you can get the best movement out of her. And then HP up, I don't know if you really need this for her. You just want her to evade attacks, not take them. But speaking of taking attacks, reaction abilities, I usually use a Third Eye. This will raise her evasion rate. I like Dragon's Blade a lot too, though. You can drain HP from the person that attacks you, and it has a little bit of range. And then Poison Barb, which again can be nice against characters with high resistances or like tanks and stuff. Alright, and then finally is the Master ability, and she has one of the best Master abilities. Attack up 25%, which is super important for her, because generally MRs have lower attack. And then Evasion +15 makes her one of the best evading characters in the game. Pretty soon, there will be the release of Vineta. And then, is she an improvement on Shadowlynx? I would say probably yes. And then also her damage is going to hold up better over time, rather than Shadowlynx in PvP. But that doesn't mean that you should disregard Shadowlynx. For one thing, you can use Vineta and Shadowlynx together. But also, as we saw with Tower, just having more units to use to throw at levels is always a good thing. And if you weren't working on an MR currently, I can highly recommend Shadowlynx. Oh, and in my character reviews, I don't really talk about vision cards or espers, because hopefully in my videos I've informed people enough about the concepts of the game so that they have the knowledge in order to make the right decisions for themselves, based on their team, based on the level that they are going into. Okay, I think that will do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.